the internet cooperates and all that. That'll be good.
Riley, thank you so much
Hey,
for
how's it
coming
going?
on.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Let's start out with how long you've been in real estate and how'd you get started in real estate?
Yeah, I guess like how long I've been in, it's kind of I don't really know like how people consider to be in it, I guess, but and I say that because like I started learning about real estate um a couple of years ago, and it like took me a while to be able to like actually get in and do some stuff because of military training. So like when I found out about real estate, um, I was leaving the basic training like a month later, and so I had to like put it on hold. Then I came home for like a couple months, and then I was leaving again for 6 months, and so it just like was a lot of back and forth, but um, consistently like working towards it like about a year and a half now, um, and I got started. So like I was living in student housing actually, and going to school, and, and the way it came was like I just started, I guess, in my head like how much rent was from myself, like from my roommates.
Did I lose you?
That
I think we lost him.
All right.
You're back.
I don't know what's going on. So, anyways, I started. I started doing the math in my head, how much rent was, and times all the in the complex. Like, I just realized that the numbers were not adding up, and
Oh. We're having technical difficulties, y'all. You gotta love the internet. Let's see if he gets rebooted.
I'm so sorry. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's probably me, but anyway. Um, I don't know what the last thing you heard me say was, but um, when I was living in the student housing, like the rents just weren't adding up. Like in my favor, I was like, we're paying like all this money, and like these people are making some serious money. Like I know they have expenses, I know they have employees, but that's when I like first started thinking about like that there was something to real estate. And so um, I think I like was looking up. I don't know if I was looking up or like I came across like Grant Cardone and was kind of like listening to some of his stuff for a little bit. A guy who's like a big real estate investor, and stuff started watching and just got hooked, and then went to here I am learning about like financial freedom and all this stuff, and I'm about to go to basic training like in a few weeks, and so it's kind of interesting time. But and then yeah, so that's kind of how I got into it. Just from there, just started learning a lot in between the military training, and even while I was in doing my training, I just spent time learning and yeah, so that's kind of how I got into it.
Yeah. How long after you kind of got hooked on it did you decide to join Subto?
Oh, it was a while. I like so when I was so I went to basic training like the end of 2020, and then I came home for a few months in between my training, went back down to San Angelo, Texas for like 6 months. And so that was from like April 2021 to like October 2021. And so like that's when I found like Jerry Norton was in like April of 21, and just started looking at his stuff because it's like you just don't really know like anything. You don't know who's in the industry, and so like you start seeing these more people, and so see Jerry, and then a little while later, I see kind of, and all that stuff, and it was a while. Like I joined for like probably since I first found out about PACE till I joined was like 2 years.
Okay.
I finished my training. I got home. I spent 2022 like making calls, trying to make it happen, and it just wasn't clicking at the time. And then did my first deal a little earlier this year, and joined after that. So
Yeah. Do you feel like Subto has put you on the fast track in real estate compared to what you were just watching YouTube
yeah,
videos?
it's been wild. Like I was like like at the beginning of this year, I was like, all right, like I really need to like I really need some deals, because you working on it and trying to make it happen, and just wasn't happening at the time. And so it was like March, and I was like, dude, I need to get a deal like before my birthday is what I said. And so I just kept kept at it. I actually I uh, followed Kevin, posting a lot of stuff with him and all that, but he went on a podcast deal. So I was just like, let me that on prop stream, and I did that on prop stream, and then like a couple calls and like me just like trying completely like picking the market for it or anything, but I did a couple calls in Dallas, like nobody answered. I made a call in Colleen, and that, like, long story short, I guess we can get into it, but that was the deal. And so so I did that before I joined Subto, and then since joining Subto, like it's just been insane. I feel like I've had a lot of like momentum, and obviously my network's grown like crazy, meeting new people every day. And I feel, and even though like I do, sometimes I'm like, yeah, I probably should have gotten in sooner. The reason why I didn't was just because I was like, I didn't want to I knew that it was worth it, but I didn't want to like spend the money until like I could at least like prove to myself that I could do a deal, if that makes sense. Like I was
Yeah.
just like, let me do a deal, and then we'll see where we're at from there. And that's how it happened. And I like sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I probably should have joined sooner, but at the same time I'm like, I think things happened exactly how it should have, because I joined, things went really well. I went out to community camp, and things have just been crazy ever since joining. So it's been like definitely having the community has been um,
Yeah.
game changer for sure. Like you have so many people to bounce ideas off of and do deals with, or so it's really cool.
Yeah. So you did your first deal before joining Sub 2 with a Sub 2 student.
Hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
it was
Cool.
like, yeah. So we yeah, I did that deal, and then like 2 weeks later is when
You
I
joined.
joined. Mhm.
Let's go ahead and go into that deal a little bit about just kind of tell us how you got the deal, what the deal looked like, and what you learned from that deal.
Yeah. So, like I said, um, Kevin was talking about no equity deals, and I tried that. And when I called the agent, um, I was terrified to pitch sub two, to be honest with you. Like, I did not know how it was going to go. And so I did. And I have it recorded. I'm actually putting it out, I think, tomorrow, the call with the agent. But, um, yeah, I was terrified. And she had asked me, she was like, "Are you talking about assuming the loan, or just like taking the payments?" And I was like, "Yeah, just taking over the payments subject to." And she said, what she said next, like, blew my mind, because she was like, "Well, we just had a subject to offer, and like it just fell through." And so, like, they were on a contract and it fell through. So I was like, I was so excited, because like she knew, the agent knew what it was. They were already in the process. The sellers knew what it was. They were going for it, like they were down. And so I just asked her, why it didn't work, and just trying to figure out a little more. And I was honestly being optimistic, and I really didn't know if it could work, but I was just like, I think it can. And so I asked if we could talk the next day, and set up a call. And so like I right after that I DM'd Kevin, and said, "Hey, like I got this." And we got on the phone, and or like on a phone call, and then a Zoom, and we Kevin was going to be on a plane the next day, so we ended up just calling her right back that night. And Kevin cleared up some things that, like, I just questions I should have asked. I just didn't know what to ask. Things like, what the mortgage balance was, and how much like her commission was, and also just asking more about like what the other offer had, just to see if we can get ours close to that. And yeah, so from there, we sent an offer that night, and heard back a few days later, and it got accepted. And then when it got accepted, we got a mortgage statement, and we had to the the mortgage payment was different than what they said, what we were told. And so it kind of like messed things up a little bit. And I believe Kevin said we had a buyer too. Like he knew somebody right off the bat that could buy it. But once we got that mortgage statement, they backed out. So we had to renegotiate a couple of things. So originally um, we were going to give the sellers 10 grand. And then the agent's commission was like 11 grand. And then, um, when we like renegotiated it, we when we renegotiated it, um, we ended up giving the sellers 7,500, and somehow Kevin worked the agent's commission down to like 2,500. So all in on that, it was 10,000 plus 10,000 assignment. Um, closing costs was like somewhere just over 20,000 entry fee. But that was a lot of that was like Kevin. It was me just kind of like learning in the background, watching him do that stuff, um, and then we found the buyers, which is kind of funny because Kevin had found the buyer, but it was actually ended up being one of my friends that I met through the free Facebook group like a year before. So it's kind of funny, and yeah, it was going to be it. The mortgage payment was high, so like it was not going to cash flow. So and their exit strategy was wraps. So just worked out good. So it closed. So it was like pretty much a month. I got that lead like March 15th. We closed on April 17th, which was like 10 days before my birthday. And so like I was just pumped because like that was my goal, was to get it before my birthday. So it all worked out.
Really cool. What was your biggest takeaway from all of that?
Um, Probably that I could do it. Like, I mean, you see, it's tough because like when you start out and you're wholesaling, like you see people that get deals on like their fifth call or their first call, and like you're just like, holy crap! Like I've made a lot of calls and text messages and stuff, and so when it actually went through, like um, it was just reassuring to know that like when you put your mind to anything, you can do it. And so that was probably my biggest takeaway, was just like, it doesn't matter who you are, just as long as you work and stay consistent, you'll get it done. And sometimes it may take a while, which sucks because that's how it happened for me.
Yeah.
Um, but it was worth it. I learned a lot. So
Yeah, just that proof of concept.
yeah,
So since you've been in Subto and started doing deals, have you found what your avatar is?
yeah. I've just been sticking with that direct to agent,
Correct.
on
Are you
market
the
stuff.
visionary?
What was that?
Are you the visionary caller or are you more integrator? Yeah.
Oh, I'm for sure visionary. Yeah. I mean, I don't like calling either, but I know I got to do it. So, but no,
Yeah.
I'm definitely a visionary. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do the integrator stuff for sure. So,
Yeah.
uh, yeah. So, uh, direct agent on market stuff. I think you're similar, like low equity stuff, and that's just like because when I did that deal, I was just like, all right, like let me, because I think that's a lot of times like when you don't find success in real estate or really anything, it's because you change the plan too many times, and
Yeah.
so you don't stick it out long enough to like see any results. So
Yeah.
um, when I got the results with that one, I was just like, all right, let me keep rolling with this. And like obviously we all change up our strategies and do different things at different times, but that's kind of what I'm rolling with for a bit.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Do you have any tips for being successful at the direct to agent avatar?
Um, Something I've been learning a lot recently, like ever since doing that deal, getting into Subto, being in a couple Zooms, and like even going to community camp, was that like I think for a while like it was holding me up because like when you're wholesaling, like you're just told like, okay, like go out and find deals. And so mentally you think like, okay, like when you go out and look on the MLS, like they're just going to show up as deals, and they're not.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's one of the biggest things I've learned, was that like you're not just going to like go out and just see a deal randomly. Like occasionally you will, but a lot of times the deal is made when you are actually making offers. And so um, that's like a big thing, that's I've like a big tip, I guess, is to be to know that like to actually make a deal, like you've got to like the deal will come from your offers and the numbers you put together.
Yeah.
And so along with that is actually submitting offers, like, and even like, we talk to people all the time, and it's just like with agents, they'll say like, oh, they're not interested in that. And I just used to be like, oh, okay, like that's that. And so a big thing I've learned is to still send an offer or an LOI, depending on the situation. But because they can always, like, at least they have it, and it may stay on the market for another whatever 90 days, and when it's getting ready to expire, then they might be like, all right, like let's actually look at that one now, because we're in a tough spot. And so they can
Okay.
always go back and see them, or or you send it to them, and then they actually do kind of give it a shot, and then you start negotiating. So that's gotten me like um, a lot more like opportunities recently, just submitting offers every single day and having the conversations. And a lot of time, like, and you may not, that's the other thing with submitting offers too, is like it may not go anywhere, they may not pull it up later. But the other thing with that is like you build a relationship with these agents. So if you can establish yourself as like the go-to guy on creative finance, then they can, next time when they have like a listing that's about to go on the market, they can sometimes send that to you. And I've had a few of those, so
Yeah.
it's been good.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the follow up thing, oh my gosh, I have so many stories where the follow up, the lead came from just the follow up, right? Like hardly ever do you get a deal just the first call. That doesn't really happen. Like I had one we're working on right now where we sent an offer. Let's see, it's the end of August. We sent the offer at the end of June, 2 months ago. And the agent just blew us off, didn't want to talk about it. Well, I followed up, I think last week, and he's calling me, like blowing up my phone. Hey, please help us. This seller's $75,000 behind on payments. Like
Oh
they're
my,
going to foreclosure next Tuesday, and this agent waited 2 months to call us to try to figure something out because for whatever reason, right? But if
where's
I
the
wouldn't
last?
have followed up, that wouldn't have came back in our lap. So follow up, follow up, follow up. Have you tracked your KPIs from how many offers you have to send out to how many contracts you get?
I have not. I'm honestly not at that point. Like, I mean, not to say that like I should be doing it probably, but I'm just like still like kind of in the beginning, that like
Yeah.
I probably need to learn better how to track KPIs, and like how to do it, where to do it, all that stuff, because I just haven't gotten to that step yet. So definitely
Yeah.
something I need to be doing.
Yeah. And you have a W 2, right?
Well, I'm self-employed, yeah. So I got full time stuff. So full time, my dad and I have a motorcycle business. So we essentially, what we do is we part out old motorcycles, and we uh, we sell the parts on eBay. So we have an eBay store with like 7,000 listings. We're shipping parts like every day. So that's like one of the main things we do. And then we also do like services and repairs on motorcycles as well, like oil changes, tires, all that stuff, fixing them. So I do that full time. Um, Real estate, fit that in there, and then extremely part time is like my firefighting stuff with the Air Force. So I'm in the Air National Guard. So that's basically what it is. Is like um, it's just part time service. So I'm not like active duty where it's like my job every day. I go in on a like one Saturday and Sunday every month, and we do training on those days. And then occasionally, like throughout the year, I'll have some other trainings that I got to do. So like last week, I was in Alabama for a week doing a course, a hazmat course, and yeah. So those are my things: Air Force, motorcycles, and real estate.
Interesting collaboration there.
Yeah.
Do you have any tips for balancing doing the two other jobs with real estate?
Um, that's a really good question. I haven't. I don't know that I've. I kind of just roll with it, like, um, and where like I might be a different situation than other people because like our stuff's flexible, like with our motorcycles business, because we can like we don't have customers coming to our like store like for our eBay stuff. Like we do have people that drop off motorcycles and that stuff, but like with the eBay stuff, like it's I do a lot of the shipping, and so like I choose to like I'll come in early, and then I'll work for like 3 hours, and then I'll do like real estate stuff during the day, and then I'll go work again at night for like 4 or 5 hours. So um I, yeah, but as far as like a tip, that's a good question. I would say, and this is something I'm not even that great at, and I'm learning that like I'm working on this. Would be just scheduling stuff and having a planner, like using a Google Calendar,
Yeah.
and actually like planning your days. Because like when I don't, like, yeah, I go through, I'll get to work and I'll do my stuff, and then like I get to real estate, and it's like, but it just doesn't. It's not like very structured, and I feel like I don't get as much done. But whereas like when I do plan stuff and like follow the schedule, like I get a lot more done. So,
Yeah.
uh, being more like intentional with time is probably what would help a lot of people. Because even like if you're working a W-2, um, it can be tough. Like you go out, you start work. I don't know what time people start, like 6 or in the morning, 7, 8, 9, and like you're working most of the day. Then you get home, and it's like it could be tough. Like when you're working on real estate part time, where you want to see your kids, or um, you want to kick back for a second, but when you put a schedule to it, I think it helps out. So
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's true. Even if you are doing real estate full time, right? I think people can get stuck in they don't have a schedule and they're their own boss. So, oh, I can do whatever I want. And you tend to, some people might tend to not actually do the work and fill it with YouTube videos or posting content that may not benefit you actually making money type of thing. So I think scheduling, these are the hours I'm making calls, this is the hours I'm doing follow ups or whatever is really helpful to make sure that you're actually moving the needle. Really,
yeah.
really cool. What's one piece of advice that you'd give someone that's still trying to get that first deal under their belt?
Um, Man, I think I'm trying to think because I wanted to say like what I would have told myself, and um, it would probably be similar to what I said earlier, like sticking to one method, like, and I don't know what the timeline is for that. Like I'm not, I'm not doing a crazy amount of deals or anything like that, but like, I mean, minimum maybe like 90 days. I don't know. Stick with that, or maybe more. I don't know, but whatever it is for you, stick to that. Because a lot of times we see people doing these different strategies, and you know, our mind just gets going every direction of like, oh, maybe that's better. Maybe this is better. And so sticking with one one strategy, one marketing channel would probably be one of them, and then also just being consistent and not giving up. Like, and it can be hard to be consistent, especially when you're working like full time, because, like I said, you still have life, you still have family, and um, and so being consistent is huge. You build up a lot of momentum when you're consistent, um, and you can't give up. Honestly, I mean we hear it all the time. Like a lot
Yeah.
of people, never make it just because they gave up. Like if you just stick in it long enough and actually do the work, um, then there'll be opportunities for sure. So
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. That was one of my mistakes when I first joined Subto, is I was kind of bouncing around to different things. So at the time I worked at W2 and I was also a realtor and also still trying to do this. So not only did I have limited time, but I was just not sticking to one thing consistent enough. So I started out by doing text campaigns, but I would pull like whatever list, right? All the lists you can think of and text all the lists. And then I would go drive for dollars and write a letter and like do all these things. And I didn't see any results from that until I really started doing one thing and focusing straight on that, not getting starry eyed. And that's when I really saw results. So I think 90 days is a good mark. If you're, now I wouldn't say you can make one call a day for 90 days and expect something, but if you're putting in a certain amount of hours for 90 days, then that's a good point to review and pivot if needed.
yeah, yeah, I think it's very similar for both of us. Like you saying what you're doing, like driving for dollars and or sending a letter and stuff. Like I did the same thing, and
Yeah.
I'd done some cold calling, and then like I just got to the point where I was like, dude, I can't get anybody to answer the phone. Like it's not even that I'm not having like it's not like I'm having conversations that are just not going well. I was like, I couldn't even get anybody to answer the phone, and so then it's like I turned to then I started doing like some SMS stuff, um and then it's like it costs money, and so
Yeah.
like instead of the time you were doing for calls, now you're trading money, which is fine if you're doing deals, because
Yeah.
obviously expenses are there, but um yeah. So like I said, maybe maybe it's 90 days, maybe it's longer, but 90 days is probably like a good place to maybe start pivoting a little bit, or just having the conversation with yourself, like
Yeah.
maybe you don't pivot completely, but maybe you just make a couple changes. So
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's fine to, like, once you get a good flow and you're really good at that one thing, then it is okay to go into other areas. There are people that do Pace does direct to seller and direct to agent, right? Now he does a lot more to direct to seller than he does direct to agent, but he does both because he has the systems and the skills in place to do that. So it's not to say that you can't add in other things or you can't do gator lending and this or whatever, but it's just focus on that one thing until you get good at it and you get traction, and then add in other things to grow your business.
yeah, yeah, for sure, I definitely agree.
Yeah. What's one thing or multiple things that you are needing right now in your business?
Leads. No, I think that's everybody, but um I want to a big thing I want to like I'm working on too is like one with networking is finding private money lenders. That's something I'm really working on, because not that I need it like right this second, but like you never know when that deal is going to come up that you actually want to hold.
Yep.
Like that's the goal for all of us, right? We want to hold them eventually, and um so that's something I need, is private money lenders or connections, and with them, um and trying to think, um a lot of things, and some of it too I've been working on is just like a lot of net building my network, and that's been great. But having the people that I can like um go to with deals and have them like just like look at or check,
Yep.
check my work. And so that's like people like you and a bunch of other people that I met, just people that I can work on these with, because I mean, like I have a good idea. A lot of times, like there's been a couple recently, like here in Utah, that I got, and I'm like, all right, like, and I started looking at it, and I'm like, okay, what would I do? or how would we structure this? And then I'm like, but is that, you know, like, then I get thinking about like, is that just what I think, or is that like how somebody else would do it? So then at that point, it's good to have other people to bring
Yeah.
it to. And so like I'll bring it to somebody, and then I'm like, hey, like I'll literally tell them like, hey, like let me just explain this whole thing to you and like tell you what I'm thinking. And so like, because I don't want to just like give it to them and then they're like, oh yeah, like this is that. Like I want to be able to like actually have the conversation
Yeah.
and tell them what I'm thinking, what, why the numbers are this way. And so I've done that on a couple of them, and you know, like they're usually like, yeah, dude, like that's what I do, or you're spot on. So like, having people like that, connections with, buyers, I guess,
Yeah.
or wholesalers, is also, things I'm still looking forward to, just to be able to work these things together and bounce ideas off of each other. So
Yeah. Yeah, not only is it more fun to just do business with other people, but it's just helpful to have people say, yeah, this is a good deal, or no, actually, I would do this with that deal, and just put their feedback and their experience in the deal to help you out, or, their resources. Some people have a big buyer's list and have been doing it for a long time, and you can easily squat up and get that deal sold a lot faster, right? So, super super powerful. If anyone's in the comments and is a private money lender or has buyers or just wants to squat up with Riley, his Instagram is on his name. So is that the best place to find you, on Instagram?
yeah, that's usually the best place. I'm mostly active there. Also on YouTube, so you can search the same hashtag, or not hashtag, same username.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, that's the best place. So how long have you been at Subto?
um like a year and a, I don't think it's quite been a year and a half, but over a year.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
it took me a while to get traction, and I didn't see traction until I started squatting up with people, and that's changed everything for me.
Yeah, it's huge. You've been killing it. Like I just keep seeing every day. I feel like I see something, or you close the deal, or you guys are selling a deal, or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely like the team that I'm a part of, oh my gosh, I've been calling with them since beginning of the year. I think February or March, something like that. And I wouldn't say we started seeing traction until probably June or July, when we really started nailing down like actual roles on the team and getting all our ducks in a row and really like focusing everyone. And then I feel like once that's happened, it's just been like the ball's just been rolling nonstop. So it's really cool. And I think it's a good example of things take time and stuff doesn't happen overnight, right? It took us several months, and now finally, like, we're getting several deals all the time. And that's really cool. But it took time to get to this place.
Yeah. So what? I'm curious. What is like? How is that structured? Whenever when people are teaming up, and like how is it split? Is it like somebody finds a deal, or I mean, I guess it would just depend on what's needed, because like somebody might find a lead, but then somebody else closes it. Like,
Exactly. Yeah. So with JV, it definitely depends because we get different things brought to us. Like I get leads brought that all they've done is the initial call, and like I'm still having to go dig for more information and close the deal and do basically everything. Right. So that split looks a little different than, I think we have one right now where he basically closed it and he was just like, can y'all just send the contract for signatures and dispo it? And so, of course, that's more split to that person because he's done a lot more work than just making that initial call. On the team, so we do JV deals, and we also just have a team where um, everything's inbound, or not inbound, but within the team. So we have callers that will just make that initial call, try to build rapport with the agent, get the basic information, let them know what we're doing, and they don't take it to an extreme depth conversation, just kind of like an overlay of how we're buying deals. And then whether they say yes or no, they say we're going to send an offer anyway. From there, it moves to our underwriter who underwrites it, and then we'll send the LOI. And from there, it's basically my responsibility to follow up and try to move the lead forward. So,
Gotcha.
yeah. So the split there is, the underwriter and dispo and all that. It's getting 60. They're doing most of the heavy lifting. Closer gets 30, and then the initial caller gets 10.
Okay. So you
Yeah.
guys, so the callers, are they like other students or people?
Most of,
We don't have
well,
to be students, but some people in the other groups or
yeah, I think it's probably
not
50-50, like 50 Subto students and then 50% just people in the free group that have seen us somewhere, right? And just decided to
yeah.
join the team. But
Okay.
yeah, it's all just people that want to,
That's
they're
cool.
all, yeah, just getting in, getting their feet wet, trying to just see what the process looks like, getting used to doing phone calls and all of that. So it's been a lot of fun. We're doing a lot more JV stuff. So that's fun too, to just help people. We'll either close the deal for you or just help you dispo it. So it's been fun just working with a whole bunch of different people. I think that's my favorite part is like we don't work with just within the team. We get to go squat up with this person and that person and just get to meet everyone and see how everyone works. So I have a lot of fun with it.
That's cool. Awesome. Well, we'll have to. I was just curious, but we'll have to do so I'm gonna get mine going, my podcast stuff, and then I'll have to get you on,
Yeah,
and
that'd be fun.
we can dig into your what you're doing more and how you got into real estate, all that. I love that.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, thank you so much for coming on. This was really cool. I think you dropped some nuggets for everybody. And so this is one for the books, especially for those that are doing either trying to get their first deal or doing that direct to agent. It's super powerful. So thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you. It was great, and you guys are awesome. It was good meeting you guys out there in Montana, and I look forward to like I said, doing some deals, and
Yeah.
I feel like like I don't know, I'm just excited. It's fun, like just working with people, like you said, and just making money with your friends. So there's nothing like it.
Exactly. Yep. Well, cool. Well, this is the end of it. So thank you everybody for coming on and showing Riley some love. And we will see you all next time.
See ya.